Alright, so you see on your screen right here, this is Iwanako's letter. So, yep, that's pretty quick. The title of this segment is Iwanako's letter, and unlike the other routes where we did get like a notice before we actually get the letter. I mean, it's like because in the previous routes we played, like we got the letter from Misha and Shizune, yeah, but this time we just got the letter. So, and we all know what was written in Iwanako's letter, but we're just gonna see what happens from here in RIN's route. So here we go. I can immediately tell from the envelope that it's not about official matters of any sort. Someone actually wrote me an old-fashioned, handwritten paper letter. Who bothers doing something like that in this day and age anyway? Yet, as unlikely as the prospect of receiving one sounds, there is definitely a letter lying on my desk. The classes for the day are over. Still feeling pretty full from the big lunch that I had unexpectedly eaten at the cafeteria, I returned to my dorm, planning on finishing my homework and probably skipping dinner, or at least just eating light. I feel like I need to eat less than I used to. Maybe I don't use that much energy now that I don't do much beyond reading. However, the letter on my desk has naturally caught my interest. It's the first piece of mail I've received here at Yamaku, so it would feel special even if it wasn't something as rare as a handwritten letter. What causes me even more trepidation is the name of the sender, written neatly on the back of the envelope. Iwanako. I have no idea why she would write to me. I haven't been in contact with anyone from my old school since I transferred, and Iwanako is the last person I would expect to want to write me a letter. So, right, the last time I saw Iwanako was terribly awkward, embarrassingly so. She came to my hospital room, peeled me an apple out of courtesy, and then we practically sat in silence for half an hour. She said goodbye and didn't look me in the eye when she closed the door. It might have been a natural end to the series of visits that were probably pretty painful for both of us. Every time she visited me in the hospital, I wanted to talk to her, but something stopped me every time. Every time that I didn't speak made the next time even harder. Iwanako always had this aura of fragility around her, as if she would shatter into pieces at the slightest disturbance. Initially, I think it might have been that delicacy that attracted me to her, but after what happened back then, it felt as if she really had shattered. She looked so sad that I didn't want to say anything that might upset her, and I never could figure out the right words to say. I told her that it wasn't her fault. She nodded, and I really think she hadn't understood that if it hadn't been that, then sooner or later something else would have made my heart give out. Yet she looked so hopelessly sad every time she opened that door and entered my room, because she really couldn't do anything for you. But then again, this is all the past. I mean, the thing is that if Iwanako truly loves Hisao, right? If she truly loved him, she would have stayed by his side all the way, right? Without just giving up like that, right? But that just goes to show that Iwanako's love for Hisao isn't really true love. So I never managed to say the things I wanted to say. In the end, that might have hurt her even more. Carefully, I opened the envelope and drew out the folded letter from within. Dear Hisao, how are you? I hope you are well and happy at your new school. Everyone here misses you. Almost all of our second year class got put together in class 3-1 for the final year, so we are pretty comfortable right from the beginning of the year. I'm sure you have been assigned to this class as well. Yeah, I think we have read through this, but yeah, again. The mood among the third year seems to be very anxious about the final exams, even though they are so far away. The teachers are badgering us about it all the time. Even old Mr. Tachibana, who is, by the way, our homeroom teacher this year. Would you believe it? I was sure that he'll retire after our second year, but here he is, nagging everyone about studying for exams. Well, I guess he just wants to do it one last time, for the sake of the graduating class, I think things like that are the main reason why the mood among the third years is so nervous. I must admit that I'm somehow losing confidence in myself as well, even though I've always fared reasonably well in exams. It's so weird to think we're already seniors, isn't it? Time has really flown past. I wonder where it went. The new first year seems so young and somehow really innocent. I keep wondering if I was like them in my first year. I've been feeling nostalgic like this for the whole first trimester. There are the things I want to say. I'm writing to you because I felt that there are things I should have said after the incident back in winter. I really regret that I wasn't able to say them in person, and I have no excuse for it. The truth is, the times when I visited you at the hospital made me worried about you. I'm not talking about your health. You seem to become more distant and disheartened. It was natural after something like that happened, I'm sure, but somehow I got the feeling that you had given up on something back then. Happiness, maybe? I think I have not actually read that detailed of this letter before. I mean, it was more detailed in Hanako's route at least, but in RIN's route, we can see that this letter is actually quite detailed. Yeah, but I guess also another reason why both of them grew more distant is because of Hisao himself. Because after that, that arrhythmia disease thingy, yeah, he felt so depressed, like he couldn't get over it, and that also made Iwanako depressed, and over time they grew distant, so yeah, but well, that's life for Hisao. So I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I'm really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most, even though I like you so much. At least now, finally, I can be more honest. If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I would tell you not to keep up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. I hope you've managed to get back on your feet on your own. Now that the distance between us is also physical, it also feels more final somehow. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. I'd very much like to hear about your new school and how you are doing. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Iwanako. Yeah, this part we have read through before actually though. Although, yeah, I kind of don't remember if we have read through this whole... I think we did read through this letter before in Hanako's route, so yeah, here we go, we read it again, so... After finishing reading the letter, I fold it like it was and place it on my desk. I don't know what to think of this. I feel empty and confused. Why now, after all this time? Just yesterday I decided that I can't let myself stay like this, that I will try to get on top of my own life. Reading this letter just reminds me of what could have been. Oh, now we see a different perspective, because if I recall, in Amy and Hanako's and possibly Lily's route, Hisao is like after reading this letter, it's like it's all in the past, so I can finally move on. But here, Hisao actually hasn't moved on yet. Here in RIN's route at this point, he hasn't actually moved on yet, and he's just starting to want to move on until this letter came in, and then it's like, oh, he grew hesitant again from the looks of it. Of course, I wish that I didn't have to be here. I would want to be in the same class with Iwanako again. Maybe we would talk every day now and go on dates. My life didn't go like that. I didn't really need to be reminded of this. Iwanako needed to write this letter for her own sake, and I'm glad for her that she could. But it would have been better if I hadn't read it. Of course, she's right. I thought of the same thing yesterday. I had fallen into a pit of depression and now have to try to climb out. I rip out a page from my notebook and after a moment of thinking how to frame my words, write a short reply to Iwanako. And I think this is something new because in all the previous routes, I don't remember Hisao writing a reply to Iwanako, so this is a first. I find it difficult to be really honest to her, but at least I try to appear somewhat convincing. I don't write her about Yamaku at all. I doubt she will write me again, but I don't feel at all sad about it. I fold my own letter to her, and as I have no envelope, set it next to Iwanako's. I'll mail it to her later. Then I lie back on my bed, looking at the monotone grey ceiling. A bird sings outside of my window, and a sudden gust of wind flutters my curtains. The summer afternoon feels still, as if time had stopped for a brief moment. I think about all the things I've lost and will never regain. So yeah, this is a rather short one, just a short interlude. Alright. Thus, the languid days of mid-June passed by, as it was the title of this, in her own image. You mean Rin's own image? Okay, you mean in her own shoes or something like that? Okay, I mailed my letter to Iwanako and received no reply, obviously. Having decided to ditch the old me, I start observing my fellow students even closer than I did before, hoping to understand how other people cope with their own issues. I start seeing things I didn't before, and it makes me wonder if I've been wrong twice. Superficially, everyone is abnormal, yet so strikingly normal that it shocked me at first. I admired the way my new schoolmates turned my prejudices around just like that, simply by being themselves. Now that I've gotten used to it, I begin noticing other kinds of tones in the people surrounding me every day. There is this soft, numb sadness all around me. I can see the effort everyone has to make just to get through the day, and how it weighs on their shoulders like it weighs on mine. Even the brightest smile is just slightly subdued, every outburst of annoyance just slightly dampened. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. I try to think what it means, what I can learn from others. I wonder if deep down, everyone is as lost as I am. Is there even one person in here who has truly found peace? I start to feel doubtful about myself once again. I can't decide whether these people are happy, unhappy, or if they just learned to cope and now live in an unfeeling limbo like I did all spring. I escape from these feelings into the towering piles of books I carry to my room from Yuko's sanctuary. After realizing that this will just shut me down even more, I start going to the art club's room more often, usually whenever I can. Well, art is one way to express yourself, like when you express your own feelings, so I guess it's a good way to let out stress too, yeah, because it allows you to express your feelings. Rin too seems to spend more time in there than in her own classroom. I've often seen her totter towards the door at the very end of our corridor. That wooden door and the room behind it, smelling of paint and paper, seem to mean more to her than the rest of the world combined. She says she has special permission to use the room, which I don't doubt at all. I don't think Nomiya would deny Rin anything. He seems to dote on her like an uncle upon a favourite niece. The object of his affection, however, has no favourites. She says she appreciates the teacher a lot for going the extra mile for her sake, but even when she says that, her expression is the same as always. So it's very hard to, read Rin, yeah, that's why. It's as if she was talking about a particularly unremarkable rock that she saw the other day. I can't really figure out their relationship. Rin doesn't seem to let anyone close. I don't think even Amy could say she's crossed the gap that seems to separate Rin from the rest of the world. I don't understand it. She seems so indifferent, yet so passionate at the same time. Somewhere the school bells ring the last call of the day. I realize I've been zoning out for who knows how long. Dazed, I sit up straighter, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. The pungent smells of linseed oil and turpentine mix in my nostrils as I draw a deep breath. I feel drowsy and lightheaded. It's already this late and a few club members left early, so it's just me, Rin, the teacher, and two other girls who are about to leave. Oh, this is a nice CG and more of that abstract art. Actually, it is just me, but does Rin really like to draw abstract human figures? Human features, abstract ones. We see more of these human abstract features with the very weird eyes, the mouths, and skull. Yeah, it's kind of creepy. Yeah, So you may think, what actually goes through Rin's mind? If I have to guess, maybe she doesn't have a happy life or something like that. I don't know. Otherwise, would she be drawing this kind of abstract human features? Or maybe this is actually how she sees other people. I don't know. Rin is sitting to my right, slowly working on a painting while I'm idling the time away. I don't think she realizes I've been watching her this whole time. With a nimble move of her delicate ankle, she dips the brush into crimson paint and presses it lightly onto the canvas. A stain spreads around as if the brush was bleeding. You know, you gotta have to envy people who are able to paint not using their hands but using their other body parts. So, so you see Rin using her legs to paint this kind of art. It's considered awesome, Actually, it's not considered awesome, it is awesome. Her progress has slowed down to a crawl. By now I've learned that this is dangerous for her technique, as the paint must not be allowed to dry before she's finished. It occurs to me that I am literally watching paint dry, and yet somehow I'm not feeling bored, despite spacing out just now. Most of the time the art club is very relaxed and freeform. Apart from times when Nomiya gets really excited about some technique or style he wants to teach us about, everyone is free to pursue their own interests. Lacking one, I keep floating around without direction. I try this and that, but nothing really leaves me with a deeper impression. Not to mention that I don't seem to have a special knack for anything. Well, I did get praised for my attempt at watercolors, and I felt pretty good about that myself, but that's it. I suppose it's to be expected. I joined the art club mostly on a whim, after all. I don't think this route, right? Hisao is not going to focus on science, because in the previous 3 routes, because Hisao's specialty is science, right? So it's all science all the way. But in this route, he's definitely not going down the path of science, but the path of art, even though it's not his strength. I'm thinking that maybe I should quit the club if it's going to be this pointless. But there's nothing really wrong with pointlessness, and I can't exactly say I'm unhappy. Good for you, as long as you're happy. Unsatisfied maybe, but I've got only myself to blame for that. As the pair of girls exit the club room with a cheerful bye-bye, Nomiya stands up from his desk. His chair scoots back with a loud screech that breaks the harmony of this quiet afternoon. He taps a pile of papers in his hands twice against the tabletop in order to straighten them, then stretches his back. I have a faculty meeting to attend, so I can't stay. I'll have to do some paperwork later, so if you want to stay, we can talk then. Sorry about this. There are 2 people here, but he's really talking to only one of us. Nomiya spends extra hours of his time mentoring Rin after official club hours are over, and I'll bet he'd like to discuss his plan of getting Rin's art into a gallery a little more. It's alright. I think I'll probably be here, but it's not a big deal if I'm not. I don't really have much going now. Rin answers without moving her eyes from her work in progress. The tone of her voice is neither the polite kind expected when talking to a teacher, nor her usual monotone. So I will need to send a search party if you are already here? Yes, no thanks. I don't like to party. We can talk later. Rin, it's not that party. Good girl. Smiling, the teacher picks up the rest of his papers and makes his way to the door. I glance at the clock above it and then at my watch to double check. They're 3 minutes apart, but nevertheless the club's meeting time is over now. Rin seems intent on staying here to work on a piece while waiting for the teacher. I can't quite imagine what their one-on-one time would be like. Would they actually discuss anything? Well, I bet it's mostly Nomiya, taking the initiative to talk. Rin is always so subdued in what she says, and when she does say something, it's difficult to understand what she's talking about. Maybe Nomiya just talks endlessly like he does at club meetings, letting Rin absorb what she will from his infinite well of art knowledge, like a sunflower turning to face the glowing sun. Do you mind if I stay? I thought maybe I'll give watercolors another try. I blurt out the excuse sort of accidentally, embarrassing myself. Rin doesn't take her eyes off her painting. Okay. I shift around in my chair, then get to fetching a cup of water, brushes, colours and some paper. The sound of my footsteps invades the still afternoon air. Before starting, I try to recall what the teacher told us, an important philosophy of the medium. Working with watercolours means more working with water than working with colour. I try to keep that in mind and dip my tiny saber brush into the watercolor. I'm mixing yellow and blue, trying to capture the sunlit treetops outside of the window. The sun is low, so the yellows are more pronounced and everything looks darker. I still can't quite connect what I see with what my hand does with the paints, but it's a passable attempt for my level. After a while, I start losing my focus and move the paper aside, deciding to watch Rin work for a while instead. That little while stretches first into a long while, then into a really long while. Yeah, you just stare and stare and stare. But at least, even though Rin's a weird person, at least the good thing about talking to Rin is that it trains your patience. You know what I mean? And it's like now Hisao is starting to achieve Zen mode. You know what I mean? Zen mode. Yeah, because you really need a lot of patience to talk to Rin, So kudos to Hisao for slowly entering Zen mode. Yeah. Rin paints, her entire being fully concentrated on the brush between her slender toes and the painting coming to life, one stroke at a time. She seems determined and yet at the same time relaxed, effortlessly moving the brush around, never hesitating. Colours meet and part, mix and cover each other on the canvas, bending to her quiet will. I don't know anything about composition, structure of any of that stuff, but I really like Rin's paintings, even though they are very abstract. Okay. I like how she looks when she paints. Okay, there's that too. As usual, the silence between us compels me to speak, rather than merely wait for her to open up. She might end up saying nothing at all. Do you mind if we talk? I don't mind. Oh, I saw her eyes looking at me. I kinda wanted to ask more about why you get so weird about this thing the teacher wants to arrange for you. Rin picks up a tube of paint and squeezes it between the toes on the palette, almost as easily as someone with opposable thumbs would. Taking up the brush again, she replies, "A lot of things, and some nothings, unthings. I don't think that's a word." Do you want to talk about it? I try to reach out to her clumsily, ignoring the embarrassing feeling of awkwardness. Rin keeps her focus on the painting, spreading more and more paint on the canvas, her lips forming a perfectly straight line as she concentrates on the job. Not really. Talking is hard. I mean, it's not hard. I'm talking even now. But saying the right things is really hard for me. Well, I kind of get that. No matter what, I just can't say the things I want. That sounds weird. But I guess I kind of get what she means too, because sometimes there's the type of person who finds it hard to express herself or himself, so it's true. I say all kinds of things that I don't really mean all the time. And sometimes I forget words and then I use the wrong words. I even come up with new words for things that I already have some. That's the worst thing. I get really nervous and everything comes out a mess. And even if I don't really understand what I want to say, I think there's something wrong with me that makes it like this. Remember when I said I can only think of 4 things at the same time? Maybe that's true after all. I nod wordlessly. It's not really 4. I mean, it is 4, but everything else is also there, kind of in the background, like being in an amusement park and a beehive at the same time. But that's not the point. I used to do better, like 6 or 7 things. I think so, at least. I feel I'm becoming dumber. I think everyone has times when they feel like they can't say the right things. But it's there all the time, stronger and deeper. Yeah, deeper is a good word. I like that word. Deeper. Yeah, so now I think we get to understand Rin more is that she has trouble expressing herself, except through art. That art is her best way to express herself. So yeah, and that's why she opted for art. Is that feeling of being underwater? Maybe it's just art. The more I paint, the more words I forget. Maybe at some point I will forget how to speak completely. It feels like I'm slowly forgetting something. Do you remember what you thought about things 3 or 4 years ago? Oh, don't tell me she has, amnesia or something like that. Slowly, man, that would be kind of tragic actually. I don't. A long pause ensues, during which time seems to bend around itself, almost tying itself into a knot. I don't think I've ever heard Rin talk this earnestly and for so long about anything before. And this is actually coming from the bottom of her heart. And for the first time, it kind of makes sense, Yeah. It's like I'm fading away from the world. Rin's foot has stopped its work on the canvas, and she's staring at her painting, unmoving, as if gazing at some faraway horizon. Fading away, huh? Sunlight briefly glints in the corner of her onyx eyes. Something floats up into the top layer of Rin's being, and she lets out a long breath. Then she blinks and is gone. Paintings stay behind. When I look at my own things, I remember what I was thinking back when I made them. Through art. So art helps you to remember. I get it. They made me feel like I can be with all the past me's when I was a different me. So actually, I think Rin's disability is probably not just that she doesn't have arms, but also probably she has some sort of amnesia, that she can't remember what she says, So that's why she turns to art. With art, as according to Rin, she'll be able to remember her past selves, when she painted this, painted a certain painting, yeah, and it's kind of good too because art is a way to express yourself. Art is one of the ways to express yourself, and yeah, from there you can then you can remember stuff so that you don't forget. Yeah, that sort of thing. I guess they are the proof of my existence. She uses the exact same words Nomiya used when he spoke to us of the nature of art. I didn't think Rin was paying any attention back then. I wonder if she was listening, or whether she had heard the same passionate speech from Nomiya before. Either way, I feel overwhelmed. Boy, are you complicated. I would have taken up writing a diary. Her eyes quickly flicker to my direction and then back to the painting. But she doesn't pick up the brush anymore. That's a great idea. Why didn't I ever think of that? Are you being sarcastic? What's sarcasm? I don't think she knows sarcasm. Yeah. I don't call her on the joke, if it is one. Right at the moment, Nomiya returns from his meeting. He waves to us a very melodramatic hello, mildly surprised to see me here along with his pet student. Walking with a boisterous gait to his desk, he drops his papers upon him. He picks up a handkerchief and cleans his glasses with incredibly meticulous care before walking over to us. Before he is within earshot of us, Rin says something to me in a quick, quiet voice. Change is the scariest thing in the world to me. And I kind of get it because, yeah, that's why just now she said before, right, that it's like she can't remember what she says, so that's why she's scared. So that's why I'm not surprised that when she said that change is the scariest thing in the world to her. Yeah. So, and I seriously don't know if I want to change the person who could do the thing the teacher wants me to do. I don't know if I could even, if I wanted to. Hello again. Hello. Hello. What's going on? He smiles a bit sheepishly, looking at both of us with uninhibited interest. Ah, nothing. We were just talking about that thing with your acquaintance in the gallery. For RIN's works. Sort of. Ho ho! Any decisions? I look at RIN, who is trying to arrange the bothered expression on her face into something else. And that's also kind of explains why she is kind of hesitant to submit her gallery, a drawing to the gallery or something like that, because she's scared of change. Yeah. Now I think this is the episode where we are really starting to understand RIN better. Yeah, and I can kind of sympathize with her already. Anyway, wow, I don't think I have much else to say other than that you should go for it. Wow. Oh. I think this is the first 3 choice in any route, because I think in the previous 3 routes it's either this choice or that choice. But well, I mean the common route there's also like 3 choices to 1 or 3 choices to make. But I'm talking about the individual girl routes. So far in the past individual girl routes, it's only either this choice or that choice. But now I have 1 of 3 choices to make. Let me see. I don't think I have much else to say other than that you should go for it because it will be exciting. It isn't like you at all to hesitate like this. I think it will be a big hit. I think the third option is definitely out because RIN said so herself that she's afraid of change. So I think it'll be a big hit. It's kind of like doesn't link. Then because it'll be exciting, it isn't like you at all to hesitate like this. It isn't like you at all to hesitate like this. Let me think. I don't think this is a good option either because I mean before that she seems like being nonchalant and all, but at that time we really don't understand her. Now that we understand her fears and all that, we should actually encourage her because it will be exciting. Yeah, definitely not. I think it'll be a big hit. I don't think she wants to be a big hit. And then isn't like you at all to hesitate like this. It's kind of also doesn't make sense. Yeah, so I think I'll go with this first choice because it'll be exciting. And this is the best choice to make because it will be exciting. Just embrace change. Don't be afraid of it. Encourage her because it will be exciting. Yes. Don't you think it will be exciting? I would be wow about something like this. Ha ha ha, so would I. But this is about things like your career and future, rather than the youthful adventure. Although there's nothing wrong with enjoying oneself. Nomiya gently reprimands my excitement, but I'm not going to let it go. Seriously, everyday life is so dull. You always do the same things every day, in the same way. This would be something else. No, my boy. It's a big decision, and even though I would like Tezuka to be more decisive as well, she needs time to mull it over. Why don't we let her decide? You have good intentions, but in the end it comes down to her own feelings. Yep. Any thoughts on the subject, Tezuka? You've been quiet all afternoon. We both look at RIN, who doesn't return either of our gazes. No, I think I'm going. Oh, wait. You are? What a shame. Promise me you'll give me some kind of an answer in a week or so, alright? Or you mean going as in, okay, I'm not going to answer that, I'm going to leave, alright. Alright. Good girl. RIN stands up and trots out of the room without anyone saying anything further. Nomiya looks at me over his circular pink glasses, smiling sympathetically. You've made friends with that, Nakai? Well, something like that, I guess. Depends on how you look at it. To be honest, I'm not really sure. It's more like me and RIN just tend to hang around each other irregularly, talking or not about something that more often resembles some twisted mockery or philosophy rather than normal everyday things that fans chat about. Weird people chat about weird things. Well, that's good, all good, isn't it?
You're a new student and we should be promoting integration to the student body and such. I can't remember all the buzzwords they spew at faculty and Yamaku Foundation meetings, but that's how it is. Tezuka isn't the most social person around these parts either.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
So she's talked about my suggestion to you?
Oh no, not really. I think it's been more me pressing her to decide something. Maybe I shouldn't have.
No, I'm sure it's fine. I'm too soft with her, even when I shouldn't. I don't really know how to handle Tezuka. She's so independent and willful. I wonder if this is what every old geezer of an art teacher who got his hands on a young and fiery prodigy felt like.
He chuckles ironically to himself a little bit, turning to face RIN's latest work which she left drying on the easel. She departed so abruptly that I wonder if she considers it finally finished.
So, let's see the painting then.
He leans in closer, peering at the canvas.
It draws you in, doesn't it?
Nomiya stands back straight, his face a dreamy, nostalgic visage. I don't answer him, as he seems to be taking my agreement as a given.
I sometimes stay here after hours just to look at Tezuka's paintings. She's really just prodigious, and at such a young age. I guess she was just thinking of what she could become with a few more years of refinement. You asked what makes an artist, remember? This is it. They take a piece of the world and reshape it in their own image. Metaphorically, of course, yeah. Looking at her makes you wonder what the world looks like through her eyes. It's a wonderful thing to be young and full of passion, the most extraordinary time of your life. You would do well to remember that, Nakai.
Yes, sir.
It's so silly. People always ask artists, where do you get your ideas? As if ideas were something sold at the market for pocket change.
I mean, ideas just come sometimes, you know. Also through looking at things and all that, you know.
You can't explain inspiration. For people like Tezuka, it's like breathing. It's an instinct. I find maybe one or two with the same kind of raw potential, but no amount of potential will amount to anything if one doesn't work to realize it. It's practice, technique, skill. Draw for an hour every day for a few years, and even the most hopeless case can become a possible artist. Tezuka is not brilliant because she was born with a natural talent for this kind of thing. She's brilliant because she works harder than anyone, ever since she learned to hold a pen, most likely.
Oh yeah, so it also stems down to why she loves to paint, because it's the one thing she can be good at. You know, using her feet to draw, because having lost her arms means, yeah, she kind of wants to prove that she can still write, you know, not through arms but through feet, you know.
And all of it for feet, no less. Absolutely phenomenal.
Silence finally lands in the clubroom as Nomiya lets himself get drawn back into RIN's painting, gently murmuring acceptance towards the still wet canvas. What kind of things do you paint yourself? As if waking from a reverie, he looks at me, surprised at me talking to him.
Oh, I don't. Not anymore.
So what do you use to paint?
I became an art teacher only after my career in that field came to an end. Now I just pass on knowledge to the next generation.
The way Nomiya answers is curious, both giving and withholding information. I feel like asking more, but he cuts in before I get a chance.
Now you should run along, my boy. It's almost dinner time, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Have a good evening.
You too.
I quickly collect my stuff and step out into the deserted hallway, leaving the teacher along with his musings. The weekend will be here soon. It's amazing how fast time flies here. I promised Amy I would join her for the celebration of her triumph at the track meet last week. That should be plenty of fun. Oh yeah, we'll be looking forward to that. Because I don't think we have this kind of celebration in Amy's route itself. Yeah. So, alright. So that will be in the next episode.